Welcome back, Scorpio. I'm Selena Hart. And if these words have reached you on this day, May 24th, 2025, it's because your soul is ready to hear what your mind may have been avoiding. There's a quiet shift taking place beneath the surface of your life. And as a Scorpio, you feel it before it even arrives. The moon is now moving through Pisces, forming a gentle trine with Mars in Cancer and sextiling Uranus in Taurus. These aren't loud cosmic events, but they stir deeply. This is emotional alchemy. It's the soft unraveling before the sacred rebirth. It's the kind of day where your spirit sheds an old skin, and not everyone will notice, but you will. You may feel more emotional today, vulnerable, reflective. You might find yourself thinking of people you once loved or paths you almost walked. You're not regressing. You're revisiting. To gather the parts of yourself you left behind. This is the healing power of water energy. It doesn't erase the past. It softens it so that you can carry only what truly matters. And there's more. Venus is approaching a trine to Pluto, your ruling planet. This is no ordinary moment. This is a soul-level invitation to love deeper, truer, wiser, to stop playing small in matters of the heart. If you've been hiding how much you feel, now is the time to let it rise. You might reconnect with someone through a message, a memory, a dream, or perhaps the one you're truly reconnecting with is yourself. The version of you who knew how to trust, how to feel, how to let go without losing everything. Today is not for action. It's for allowing, for silence, for journaling the thoughts you haven't dared speak aloud, for sitting with the discomfort until it turns into truth, and most of all, for remembering you don't need to be understood by others to be whole. In the next part of this message, we'll explore the ancestral threads that are quietly pulling at your intuition, and how May 24 may mark the beginning of a new karmic chapter, not through chaos, but through clarity. And now, Scorpio, let's go deeper, not just into the energy of this day, but into the sacred memory held within your very bones. Because what's stirring in you now is not new. It didn't begin with this week, this year, or even this lifetime. It is something ancient, a pattern that has circled through generations, a wound passed down quietly through silence, through absence, through unspoken sorrow. And though no one may have named it for you, your body remembers. It remembers what the mind forgot. It remembers the weight of words never spoken, the ache of promises broken long before you arrived, the quiet strength of the ones who endured and never got to rest. You may have noticed your dreams shifting, becoming more vivid, more symbolic, more emotionally charged. You wake up with feelings that seem to have no source. You're sensing people, places, timelines that don't logically belong to you, yet feel hauntingly familiar. This is ancestral energy moving through you, not to burden you, but to be seen, to be felt, to be released. You are not going crazy, Scorpio. You are being called back to the root, not the surface level identity the world sees, but the lineage, the soul thread, the echo of those who came before you and now speak through your blood. Perhaps your heart has been whispering things that sound irrational. You feel a longing you can't explain. You feel a pull towards certain music, symbols, names, or even physical places you've never been. These are not coincidences. These are coordinates. Spirit-mapped invitations to look deeper into your own becoming. The universe is not trying to confuse you. It's trying to awaken you to the truth that your healing is not just for you. It's for them too. For those who could not say what needed to be said, could not break the cycle, could not walk away, could not forgive, could not cry. You, Scorpio, are the soul they waited for, the one with enough courage to feel it all, the one with enough depth to descend into the shadows and come back whole. This isn't just personal transformation. This is karmic reconciliation. You're not just changing your story, you're completing theirs. So if your emotions feel heavy today, honor them. If solitude calls to you, answer. If your intuition is louder than logic, listen. Because what's happening now is sacred. You are not falling apart. You are remembering your place in the sacred chain of souls and choosing to heal it in your own quiet, powerful way. There is a karmic unraveling happening right now, Scorpio. A gentle but undeniable loosening of the threads that have long bound you to emotional burdens that were never truly yours. The current celestial alignment, with the moon forming a soft sextile to Uranus, is stirring something deep within the fabric of your soul. This isn't chaos, it's precision, the kind of subtle but powerful movement that shakes the roots rather than the branches. You may not see it on the surface, but beneath your awareness, entire systems of emotional conditioning are beginning to unwind. This energy is especially focused on the places within you that were shaped by emotional silence. The kind you grew up with, the kind you inherited, the silence that says, we don't talk about that here. The silence that wrapped itself around grief, around longing, around fear, and called it strength. And yet, you felt it. You felt the weight of what wasn't said. You felt the love that wasn't spoken but was always aching to be heard. That silence lives in your nervous system like a ghost. And now, finally, it is being invited to speak. You may also feel the echoes of abandonment wounds surfacing, not just your own, but those of the generations that came before you. Perhaps you were raised by someone who never learned how to stay because they were once left behind themselves. Perhaps your sense of responsibility of always needing to hold everything together stems from a lineage where survival meant suppression. Somewhere along the way, someone decided it was safer to carry everything alone. And now, through you, that belief is being questioned, unraveled, released. You may have noticed that certain names have surfaced recently. The name of a grandparent who passed long ago, a mother figure you haven't spoken to in years, a sibling whose memory still pulses in your heart. Or maybe it's subtler than that. Maybe you felt a presence, a sudden warmth in the room, a feather in an unexpected place, a song that plays at the exact moment you are thinking of them. These are not coincidences. They are whispers from the ancestral realm. Quiet reminders that you are not doing this work alone. They are with you. The ones who came before you, who didn't get the chance to heal in their time, they see you now. And through you, they are healing. They are letting go. Every time you allow yourself to feel instead of suppress, every time you set a boundary where once there was silence, every time you speak your truth, even if your voice trembles, they rise a little higher. They breathe a little easier because you are not just healing for yourself. You are completing a sacred cycle that has longed for resolution through your hands, your tears, your courage. So if your heart feels heavy, Scorpio, trust that it is not weakness. It is an opening, a sacred moment of reconnection, not only with yourself, but with all those who live through you. Let this unraveling be slow. Let it be sacred. Let it be the beginning of freedom for you and for those whose stories now find peace through your light. You were never meant to carry all the pain, Scorpio. I know there have been times in your life when it felt like you were the strong one, the one everyone leaned on, the one who had to stay calm in chaos, the one who felt everything but spoke so little. You've likely been told directly or indirectly that your sensitivity was a burden, that your depth was too much, that your emotions needed to be managed, masked, or pushed aside. And so you learned to hold it all, the grief, the shame, the fear, not just your own, but everyone's around you. But here is the truth your soul never forgot. You were never meant to carry all of it. Not the pain of your parents, not the guilt of your ancestors, not the pressure of being everything for everyone. You were meant to transform what was passed down, not absorb it. And this distinction matters because, Scorpio, you are not a container for pain. You are an alchemist of it. This is the sacred contract your soul made long before you arrived, to be the one in the bloodline who feels it all, yes, but who also has the strength to change its course. That's why you feel more than others. That's why you sense things before they happen. That's why you know when someone is hiding something, even if they never speak it aloud. Your emotional intelligence, your intuition, your psychic sensitivity, they're not wounds, they're tools, they're gifts. They're the keys to unlocking generations of unresolved grief. You're not broken because you feel so deeply. You feel deeply because you were built for transmutation, to take the raw material of sorrow, loss, fear, and shame and turn it into wisdom, clarity, compassion, and love. You're not here to suppress emotion. You're here to honor it, to let it flow through you, to witness it fully, and to decide that it will not rule you, but it will inform you. And as you do this, something miraculous happens. The weight that's been carried for lifetimes begins to lift. The heaviness in your chest lightens. The faces of those who came before you, even the ones you never met, begin to soften in your dreams. Because every time you choose healing over hiding, truth over denial, softness over armor, you set them free too. You fulfill the soul contract, not just for yourself, but for an entire lineage that didn't have the tools, the voice, or the chance. So the next time you feel the ache, the sudden grief, the rise of emotion with no clear origin, pause. And remember, this is not weakness. This is your power rising to do what only you can do. You are not here to be the end of the pain. You are here to be its transformation point. And that, Scorpio, is nothing short of sacred. As Venus begins her delicate dance toward Pluto, Scorpio, something profound is being stirred within the chambers of your heart. Not in a way that shocks or overwhelms, but in a way that reveals. This is a transit of emotional excavation. It peels back the layers slowly, lovingly, and asks you to see what has long been hidden behind desire, behind longing, behind the performances we put on to feel safe and love. You may begin to notice old romantic patterns resurfacing, and at first, it might feel like a ghost returning to haunt you. But this is not punishment, nor is it regression. It's a sacred mirror held up by the universe, inviting you to witness these patterns clearly, perhaps for the first time. That relationship where you gave too much, that connection where you lost yourself trying to be what they needed, the times you chose silence instead of truth, closeness over authenticity, comfort over alignment. These memories may arise now, not to hurt you, but to wake you, to help you understand what love has meant to you in the past and what it must mean if it is to nourish your soul going forward. This could be a day of emotional clarity, not the kind that arrives with fanfare, but the kind that slowly blooms in the quiet space between heartbeats. A moment of knowing, a truth that you can no longer push aside. Perhaps it's a realization about someone you love, or perhaps more powerfully, it's a realization about yourself, about what you truly want, what you can no longer deny, what you will no longer shrink to receive. There may be a secret you've been keeping from yourself, a truth you've avoided because it felt too inconvenient, too disruptive, too vulnerable. But on this day, it may rise, not to cause destruction, but to set you free. There is a quiet power in the air, the kind that doesn't need to speak loudly because it knows its own depth. This Scorpio power. The power that comes from being intimate with your shadow, from no longer betraying your own heart for the sake of harmony. The power of looking in the mirror and finally telling yourself the truth, even if no one else ever hears it. So if you feel distant from others today, detached or withdrawn, know that there is wisdom in that space. This is not a day to perform. You don't need to explain your silence, your solitude, your softness. You are being called inward to listen more to your intuition than to the noise around you. Protect your energy. Wrap yourself in stillness. Let your feelings rise and fall like waves without trying to fix or judge them. Because today is not about pleasing anyone else. It's about honoring your own emotional truth, perhaps for the first time in a very, very long time. And so, sacred soul of Scorpio, as we come to the end of this message, I want you to take a slow breath, not just to ground, but to honor how far you've come. You are not the same person you were a week ago, a month ago, or even yesterday. You've been moving through unseen terrain, shifting energies that most people will never even notice. But you feel everything. And that's not a burden. That's your gift. That's your magic. If today you feel tender, tired, or quiet, it's okay. You're doing the deep work. You're healing not just for yourself, but for all the versions of you who never had the words, the strength, or the permission to let go. You are becoming your own safe space. And that, Scorpio, is something no one can ever take from you. So take today gently. Speak softly to your heart. Journal the truths rising within you. Let yourself rest. Let yourself feel. Let yourself be. Because your becoming is not loud. It's sacred. And you are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. If this message found you at the right time, let me know in the comments. I truly do read every word. And if you feel called, share this with someone whose soul might need to be reminded of their own quiet strength.